I don't know if you guys noticed or if you guys saw, but Vivek very quickly fell out of favor with much of the Republican base. And it's kind of hard to choose an exact moment where this is the moment where for sure, like, they started to turn against him, because there were people who didn't like him the longer they got to be around him, generally speaking, whether it was just because he was annoying, which is a trait I would attach to him, and is one reason I just don't like to listen to him speak, whether it's because he speaks with such confidence when he has such surface level knowledge of many of the issues he's speaking about, which is another problem I have with him. But the big break that happened recently was he went out there and said that American culture is too soft when it comes to work culture, and there's a reason we need these H-1B visas, is because this American work culture is too soft. We can read the exact quote, but it was unbecoming upon American work ethic. And not only were people opposing it because a lot of people amongst the Republican base don't support H-1B visas for people to come over here, not because it gives the employer too much power over them, but because they don't want them working here in the first place, right? Because someone can have a problem with HB1 visas because of the amount of power it gives the employer, which would be my objection to HB1 visas. But their general objection to HB1 visas is the fact that you're bringing these people over to work jobs that you could have these people paying a higher price for Americans to do, even though, of course, like, if you have a smaller and smaller labor pool for more and more jobs, that's going to have a detrimental economic impact. At the end of the day, though, that could mean more higher wages for those workers, and so it's something that they are against the HB1 visa program. Even if we're bringing over some really high-skilled laborers to do these jobs, and we just don't even have the Americans to do it, in principle, there's an attached kind of, fuck off, we're full mentality, so to speak. And so that attached to the denigration of American workers made it so that both of those things kind of tipped him over the edge in the eyes of much of the MAGA base, and they really turned against him at that point. That would probably be the most clear point where they fully turned against him, but I can't find an exact point where they started to, feel ill to him, because I always felt ill to him, so I cannot really be a representative to speak about this. But apparently, the more I read about this, the more I read about Vivek Ramaswamy eventually getting kicked off of the DOGE Department of Government Efficiency committee, which is going to be advising the President of the United States. It's going to have like a staff of 20 people. That decision, or that pathway, was already underway before he made these statements, apparently, from what I'm reading. And now Vivek is aiming towards something totally different. He's going to run for governor of Ohio. It's very, very strange. And let me read you the political headline to this, because this made me chortle a little bit. Everyone wants him out. How Musk helped boot Ramaswamy from DOGE. Ramaswamy is leaving the so-called Department of Government Efficiency and plans to run for Ohio governor. Elon Musk has already achieved his first, I love the first line of this article. Elon Musk has already achieved his first cut at the so-called Department of Government Efficiency. His co-leader, Vivek Ramaswamy. Musk, the tech tycoon and Donald Trump confidant, made it known that he wanted Ramaswamy out of DOGE in recent days, according to 3 people familiar with Musk's preferences who, like others for this article, were granted anonymity to discuss them. An ill-received holiday rant on X by Ramaswamy about H-1B visas apparently hastened his demise, meaning that apparently, before he decided to do the double punch of taking an unpopular position with the base, which wouldn't necessarily be bad in Musk's eyes, because Musk also supports the H-1B visa program, which also got the ire of much of the Republican base. But it is the denigration of American work culture that was paired to that was just too much. That was just too much. I think I closed the other tab that actually had the article where it said specifically what he said that caused the fissure. I wonder if I can find it here. unless it says it later in this article. Let me see if I can find it. No, it's not in here. Hopefully it's later in this political article. Just 69 days after Trump announced the team, Ramaswamy is now leaving DOGE and planning to announce a run for Ohio governor next week. Musk's ability to ice out Ramaswamy, who for a variety of reasons had irked some Republicans in Trump's inner circle, is the latest sign of his influence in the incoming administration, and it presages an encore of all of the infighting that marked Trump's first term. Look, Trump's presidency is the return of princely drama, courtly politics, of the infighting to gain the favor of the man who can wave your fortunes for you or against you in an instant, because now with the party thoroughly convinced that a plurality of the vote, not a majority, but a plurality of the vote is enough of a mandate to make sweeping, bullheaded forward charges on issues like birthright, citizenship, and elsewise. If that's the state the party's in, and the leader of the Republicans in the House was a guy who led the effort to overturn the election, the vice president is a guy who said he would overturn the election unconstitutionally for Donald Trump after the last guy was kicked out for not violating the Constitution. Much of the old Republican leadership that was in somewhat opposition to Trump, like Mitt Romney and others, are on their way out. And so I think this is a return, definitely when it comes to Trump's inner circle, of this type of courtly politics, because it's less, here's one power faction, and the president needs to balance it with this one or this one against the others. It's a lot more the different power factions or individuals around him vying for his attention, and the more attention they can garner, the more power they can garner. It's courtly politics. It's very interesting. It's not great. It's not necessarily the best way to run a country, but it certainly is interesting. Where were we? They wanted him out before the tweet, but that kicked him to the curb when it came out. A person close to DOGE said Musk did not think it was feasible for him to campaign for office while working on DOGE. And so apparently, for Musk's position, if he wanted to run for Ohio governor, because, this would be interesting. I wonder if Ramaswamy was kind of, butthurt. I mean, think about it this way. You're a Vivek Ramaswamy. You see yourself as a kind of sly businessman, maybe in the same style of Trump. You go out there, you make your entire Republican primary. Hello, I'm a brown noser. My job is to do everything possible to make sure that Donald Trump's shoes are polished as close as much as he wants every second of this primary, where I'm supposed to beat him. Where when I'm asked to name a single critique of Trump, I cannot, except for maybe he's like too cool or whatever. And so that was his campaign. And it was because he wanted to gain favor. He didn't want to win. And then he was able to attach himself to the Trump campaign, survive all of the drama of that, get through it, actually put Trump over the top. It wasn't Vivek who put him over the top, but not only survive all that princely politics, all the courtly politics, get to the end of the election, Trump goes over the top, barely, close election, you made it, you look out to see your job posting on the wall like it's Glee Club, and they just pin the paper to the board, and Marco Rubio comes up and he's walking away clapping because he's Secretary of State. Mike Waltz is he's happy, he's walking away. Matt Gaetz, initially, I guess we'd be pretty excited, huh? Before he'd put on a mustache and change his name to like Pablo's Gates or something. But then he walks up and he sees DOGE, like the meme, like the dog picture. Like Vivek's young enough to know what DOGE is. He's not like it's not gonna be like, he's not like some old 80-year-old suit. He's not gonna get the joke. He's gonna come. What's this? And he's gonna be told that it's this new agency we're starting that's technically not in the government. and it's got like 20 employees, and you're not going to be the head of it. You're going to be like the co-head of it under Elon Musk, the richest man in the world with immense power, who could box you out at any point because he's the richest man in the world with immense power who financed Trump's campaign. And as we can now see, did box him out at any time. I mean, he probably was pretty irked about the situation. Was Vivek Ramaswamy going to ride out the Trump presidency? Not even riding Trump's coattails, but riding Elon Musk's coattails on an organization that isn't even technically in the government. I mean, I guess it'll all depend upon how much, this Department of Government Efficiency actually ends up doing. But again, it's not an official government agency. All it does is offer advice. It like produce reports, like slash this, slash that. And it's not even Vivek's thing. So I think it might be that he was unsatisfied. And again, this is speculation. I'm trying to look into the courtly politics of the MAGA world. But I wonder if he got this, he wasn't happy with it. And he was like, okay, I'll keep this to stay in MAGA world, but I'm also going to run for something to use this as a catapult to get something actually with power so I can influence a law or two and start climbing up the ladder. But then Musk sees him, and Musk, you guys see how Musk treats his employees, right? You guys have seen, do I have to like debrief you guys on how he's talked about how the Department of Government Efficiency is going to work, the kind of crazy hours are going to work, the crazy hours he's had people work at Twitter, the crazy hours he's had people work at his other companies. And so Musk is looking at this like, wait, if you're going to be my co-head and you're going to be doing all this work because Musk is the richest man in the world and he's going to be managing all these companies. So really a lot of this is going to, glory falls on Trump's feet, work falls at Vivek's feet is a possibility here. And you're going to be doing what? You're going to be running for office? No, you're going to have to work on this. And so it might be that once he found out that he was also going to be only giving it maybe half attention, he decided to box him out. And then when Vivek decided to open his mouth a little too much about American culture in that room, as a fellow who I will just say is not descendant from big Republican money, and not somebody who's deeply embedded within the party with deep allies, saying those types of things about the voters that make up the very base that they are trying to appeal to might not be the smartest. Ramaswamy maintained to confidants as late as Saturday evening that he was actively involved in DOGE, saying he was at work writing executive orders, according to 6 people who had spoken with him. But a person familiar with the arrangement said he had done almost no DOGE-related work since early December. As recently as last week, Ramaswamy was hoping to achieve some early wins at DOGE before leaving to pursue a gubernatorial bid. Now Ramaswamy and his allies are laboring to put a positive spin on his departure, coming just as Trump takes office. Ramaswamy declined to comment about perceived tensions with Musk. A person familiar with Ramaswamy's thinking said they are now on good terms, and that the reality is that it wasn't possible to run for governor and co-lead DOGE both at once. Okay, so it is exactly what it's just too much work. Too much work. He wasn't willing to accept Ramaswamy taking the credit while not pulling enough of the weight. Even Hill Republicans have joined the Ramaswamy bashing. A cheeky meme portraying Musk erasing Ramaswamy from history was privately shared by a junior staffer in House Speaker Mike Johnson's office. Oh la la. Spicy. A person familiar with the meme said. Okay, I love that fucking source. I love that source. It's not a staffer said. It's not a senator said. It's a person familiar with the meme. One of our meme informants. One of our deep agents in the group senator discords for all of the staff over there in Capitol Hill. Sorry. A person familiar with the meme said it depicted Musk as Joseph Stalin and Ramaswamy as the chief of the Soviet secret police who was later executed and removed from photos. A spokesperson for Johnson's office denied the account. Oh, okay, so Well, I believe him. Just last week, Ramaswamy was passed over by Ohio Governor Mike DeWine in his pick for Ohio's Senate seat after Ramaswamy mounted a late lobbying blitz for the seat. At a rally Sunday, Trump talked about DOGE, and he did not indicate that any changes were imminent. He said, "We have Musk and Vivek and some great people working on a thing called costs." Wow. A thing called costs. Trump loves deficits. He loves it. He might not say it, but it's the type of thing that it just makes him drool. The idea that he can just spend, doesn't even think about it, reap the immediate political rewards, and then pass the problem on the next administration. Oh my gosh. What could make you feel more glorious? Ramaswamy attended Trump's inauguration, where he spoke to Susie Wiles, Trump's chief of staff. On Monday morning, Ramaswamy posted a picture of himself with Musk shaking hands. "A new dawn," he wrote. But he was already on his way out. That same day, a person close to Ramaswamy, who was granted anonymity to speak freely, confirmed Ramaswamy was leaving. Damn. So he's going to run for governor of Ohio. That's the plan? This man's going to be governor of Ohio? Do you guys see it? Look, I don't know how he has a base in Ohio. I don't know if he's going to be able to get Trump's endorsement for a race in Ohio. Maybe he will. But also, is DeWine's is DeWine's term limit coming up? Is he going to be going against an incumbent, or is he going to be running once DeWine's terms runs out? Because as far as I know, the governor of Ohio, DeWine, is not particularly unpopular. And I mean, like, how much of an impact did this guy really have on the campaign trail? You know what this feels like? This feels like, oh God. This feels like Andrew Yang's run for New York governor. That's what this feels like. It feels like he got a little bit of national prominence. And so at the start of the race, maybe people will know his name. And so they'll say him. But then, you know, he won't have the local endorsements. He won't have the ground game. Maybe there'll probably be a lack of experience. Maybe he won't know the issues as deep as he would like to. And he gets in one of those, you know, swanky debates. And instead of just being able to, like, dialogue tree, he actually has to have an original conversations about, you know, Ohioan issues. But we'll see. We will see. This isn't the end of Vivek, but this is the end of Vivek in the headlines, and at least for the immediate future, and I am more than happy to hear it. Look at this, 2 Trump W's back to back. What's happening to the show? Oh my gosh, Ross freed, Vivek booted. My goodness. If only the rest of his presidency was like this. They made Vance a senator, so who knows? I mean, yeah. I mean, I guess it would be if, I mean, Vivek was able to worm his way into Trump's circle once. He might be able to worm out an endorsement, but I don't know if he can win a primary. Honestly, what's Vivek's claim to fame? His claim to fame is winning 4% in a Republican primary. Not even when the vote was finally counted, just like in polling numbers, and wiggling his way into Trump's inner circle. That doesn't prove he can run a campaign. And, like, he was supposed to use the Department of DOGE, the Department of Government Efficiency, to use it as a launching pad into running for governor. He was supposed to say, hey, look at all this stuff I did running government more effectively. Let me run your government. But now it's going to be, hey, I was there for 36 hours. Don't you think I should control the state police force? Don't you think I should be in charge of what type of budget the firefighters that would come to your home and save your kids get? It's just, it might not be the most confident pitch. Trump was able to sell it, but Vivek is not Trump. Vivek was just able to appeal to Trump. But the American people's taste is not Trump's taste. Vance is white. Vance is white.